So much has already happened, you know, in these first few years of the Hanoi Open. Another chapter will be written over the coming hours by these two young men.
Yeah, it'll be Labutis to break first, and he ended that match as solid as he was throughout the entire event. I think he looked really good those last 3 or 4 racks, and he wants to open with that same kind of solid performance he finished the semifinal with.
13 to be the champion.
Yeah, one thing I'll say, JJ, is I feel like Labutis is breaking a little better than Moritz, and the only reason I say that is I feel like the balls are exploding just a bit better. It feels to me like Moritz trying to just really make the one where Labutis might be getting a little bit better spread. What happens after that, we'll find out.
Yeah, a little unlucky getting blocked with the 8 here. He's got a few options, and he was pretty darn good safety-wise. He's going to run the cue ball real natural here all the way back down table. How's the speed?
Yeah, and got him cut off potentially from the right side of the table as well, which is bad news.
Moritz Neuhausen will be 22 next month. He's now a top 10 player in the world after his success at the Perry Open last week.
Yeah, I don't know. I may look to tie something up, even though it looks pretty difficult to do that. I was thinking he could get out the brown, but that's how good this safety is. Z shot. Yeah, the tip just came up a little bit there. Needed to dig a little bit more on the cue ball. It's always a hard shot on the slick table anyways.
Pijus Labutis, the older of the two. He'll be 28 before the month is out. Just a few places lower in the world rankings at 15th. And he wasn't even in the top 40 at the start of last year.
Yeah, can he just float down here? Or does he want to do something else? I think just drag down. This would be a big start for him, in my opinion, right? Made a real nice safety, nice and tight up behind the purple. It's something he's been lacking is a good start. Can only imagine how good this finish could be if he starts it out well.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing that's sometimes hard to get a hold of quickly is, especially in a big final for both these guys or any of these players, is you can get a little quick with the first break or two, and he was really on point there with the opener. So you never know. Get out here and, you know, repeat that break he just had a few times. He could get an early lead. Now, I think both these guys, even though haven't won the biggest of titles just yet in their career, very seasoned. They'll recognize it is a race to 13, which is a healthy race, and you can't panic if you get down 5-6-1.
I know this angle isn't massive, but he's just got that funny slight angle, and it's posed multiple problems for players on this table throughout the week. 7, obviously not in a bad position. If you try to pinch this too much, we've seen him jaw it up over and over. Yeah, and that's why he chose to come all the way down, JJ.
Yeah, and I mean, why not? I mean, you're still in a good position, you know, and when you have good position, I always say keep it. You know, when you get a little out of line, that's when you got to back off a little bit, maybe work a little more for a shot or two. But I like those close quarters when you're you know, already in line with the cue ball. I'll tell you who else is ready for this final is the crowd. No doubt about that.
Yeah, the place just crackling with excitement at what may lie ahead tonight. So ball in hand, made to count by Labutis. He makes the first move in the Hanoi Open final. He certainly had a lot more drama than Neuhausen on his way to this final, and particularly so in the last few rounds. He was in a strong position to win quite comfortably against Raymond Ferron in the last 16. It almost ended up going hill-hill, but he got over the line at 10-8. And then so much happened against Carlo Biado. He had the golden break to go 9-7, but Biado got back to make it hill-hill. Labutis got it done, though. And having been overtaken late in the day against Robbie Capito in the semi-final, just earlier today, Labutis won 4 in a row to finish that one off. Really did, I think we can say, play his best stuff at the end. But in both of those matches, I have to say, quite a few unexpected misses from Labutis. So let's keep an eye on that tonight. The third staging of the Hanoi Open, Asia's Major, as it's become known. And a new name will definitely be on the Roll of Honour by the end of the night.
That's why he gets such good spreads as well. Sometimes it's a bit of an illusion, you know, you feel like the guy's really smacking him when he's getting so much openings on the balls, but it's really about the connection overall.
It's exactly what I said his last match. It's almost an illusion. He's not exactly smoking these balls, but the connection that he's making makes it look like that.
Boy, it'd be hard for me not to shoot at this combination. I know it's one out in the middle of the table, but it sure does lay nice.
I feel like it's easy if you miss it to overcut the 3 just a little bit into that right knuckle.
Yeah, and you know, you got to decide how you're going to shoot it. Of course, you know, it's probably going to be a little pinch on the cue ball, but I would expect him to attack.
Agreed. Very hard to pass this up. It's staring him right down the throat. He's looking at crossing it possibly and going back up, Jeremy.
Yeah. The problem is, if you do this and you give him any look, there's a lot of balls to hide behind, even from distance for Moritz. And now an opening. Just a lot going on with that shot. I do understand it, though. He felt really good about the 2-rail path behind the 7 and the 8.
I wouldn't hate it if he just went towards the 9 here, if he just wants to bury the 2. Distance here.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Simplify this shot. They play a little better than us, Scott.
Obviously. He's been so good at the middle of the table as well. A lot of players struggling to get out to the middle of the table on this wet condition. Moritz has not had any trouble with that.
So I was saying earlier, he's become a top 10 player in the world now on the back of that Perry Open win last week. He's going to improve a few more places to about 7th. Whatever happens tonight, and perhaps even higher if he wins.
Couple choices. He could stun across. He could run through with a little inside spin coming to the low rail, which is what I like. Oh, he just floated across. Probably even smarter, really.
One thing you would definitely say is they both look entirely comfortable with the situation and the surroundings in these early racks. Both of them appearing in a major individual final like this for the very first time. shared the opening two. Yeah, I say individual final because Moritz Neuhausen was in a similar environment, not quite this level of crowd, of course, when he played in the World Cup final for Germany along with Joshua Filler when they were beaten by the Philippines a couple of years ago. And that was a big step forward for him, Jeremy.
Well, not only that, that was a big step forward. It was a big crowd, too. And they were all in very, very intense matches, if you remember. Didn't matter what teams were playing. It seems like there was always a bit of drama. And, you know, he played really solid. I'll tell you one little tool he has that I see a lot of other guys not doing. A lot of times when you get in a position, you know, like right there, rolling the ball a lot of times from where a lot of guys, when the nerves are going, they really want to pinch the ball or maybe draw it over. We're not saying one's right or wrong, but if you're really okay with rolling the ball at high pressure situations, it just opens up the doors for a few more ways to do things.
We haven't seen Neuhausen's break yet in this final. Let's have a look now in rack 3.
Get some bad kisses out there. I think that was a friendly one. I think the cue ball had a good chance to follow the one in the side. But that's kind of what I mean. Your first break, you can tend to get a little quick. It just seems to be almost everyone I watch, and he'll recognize that and probably improve from here.
But back to what you were saying about the high ball, he's one of the few on this table that still stays comfortable. Obviously, the back arm confident. He's very level with the back arm. A lot of these guys are going to the punch shot versus the roll. Obviously, a little firmer that way. But he's very comfortable with it, and it suits him extremely well on this equipment.
Odd shot here. Cueing next to a ball, which sometimes can be almost as difficult as over a ball. He's hitting down on this. All ball fouls, so the ref on top of him. Almost really just about what we just talked about. A lot of guys may have tried to stun that just to get wide of the 8 and get some kind of look at the red. Got options. The pink plays to both lower corners. He's trying to come back where he's at now, I believe. He's got to slow down a bit.
Yeah, it's going to find the bottom rail here.
That's why I thought he might consider coming down the left rail. As soon as you get past the side, you're home free on the pink to the lower right. But that's the other thing that I think for both these guys, maybe even more for Moritz than anyone else, is when he's missed position, it really hasn't phased him much. He's just like, okay, I'll just play a safety and let's continue on.
And you can read it off of him as well, right? It doesn't bother him. Just lets it roll right off his shoulders. The opponent can sense that as well, I promise.
Labutis has had a lot of close finishes on the way to this final. 4 of his matches have been won by either 1 or 2 racks. And he's lost 48 racks across his 8 matches so far. Neuhausen just 30.
Got to believe he's snookered here, so it's got to be to the back side of the pink. A little bit of left spin. Oh, man. I can't figure that overhead out, I'll tell you that. It's fooled me all week.
It's going to be the green 6 most likely. What these guys really want to do if you're feeling good is get him nice and tight up behind it. Allow that corner to come out naturally with an outside ball. Want to catch the 4 a bit fuller that way. I don't think he attacks here. He could two-way attack.
Yeah, I don't know if he's sizing up a cut or a bank, but the eyes tell me he's definitely shooting at his pocket.
It looks awful tough, Jay.
Yeah, he's killing it. He's killing it.
Pijus Labutis is going to move up to at least 11th or thereabouts in the world rankings, whatever happens tonight. If he wins, looking at something like number 7 in the world.
Okay, when these guys hit these, they tend to make them a hair more often than you would think. Cue ball.
Really credit to Moritz, though, using the 7 and 5 as well on the defensive play, kind of cutting him off. I considered he might go to the left side 2 rails behind the pink.
Yeah, maybe the 6 really kind of had him. That's how good the safety was. Anytime these guys from distance kick 1 rail like that with speed, just trying to create luck, that usually means maybe the 2 railers were cut off. The amazing thing to me is both guys have been to the table each game, I believe. And I don't think we've seen the jump cue yet in the first 3 games. Wonder what the odds on that are.
That's what I'm talking about right there. It looks extremely simple, but he has no problem getting right where he needs to be, where we've seen people fall short, where they've got to go up and down, and over time, it gets heavy.
Ball in hand enabled Labutis to take the opener. Ball in hand for Neuhausen. Sees him complete the turnaround to lead for the first time in the Hanoi Open final, 2-1 to the German player. Big prize money differential, $16,000 for the runner-up, $40,000 for the winner. And of course, every dollar translates into world ranking points and Mosconi Cup points as well, and Neuhausen is set to make his debut now for Europe in early December. Jeremy, you know so much about the Mosconi environment. How do you think Neuhausen will fare in it?
Well, I think he's going to do real well. I mean, he's going to be a rookie there, but you know he's going to play that Reyes Cup first, which is going to help, I believe, and he's just the perfect kind of guy to fit on any kind of team. Really, so positive. You know, when he played that World Cup with pool, he took a little bit from Josh whenever Josh wanted to lend a little hand, and he didn't mind it one bit. He's a very humble guy that's such a great player behind it. And it's not the worst thing it's going to be in London for him, you know, his first. The home crowd.
Rack 4, Neuhausen in front for the first time.
Yeah, pretty good. I don't know what the 3's going to do. He came clean, so he's got a shot. And these guys are getting good spreads and good looks to open. And that tends to happen a lot in these finals at the beginning, but then it starts to change a little bit about halfway through the match a lot of times, to where they're still breaking well, but just the pool guys aren't giving a lot of looks. So you got to take advantage when you get them.
And he'd like to get some inside ball on this, Jay, to get towards the right side. He doesn't want to be on the left side. He can deal with it, but so good with the high ball. Just check this up, get through it, don't let up. And that's what he's done. He was aware.
Yeah, he's perfect.
That's what I'm talking about, though. I've noticed he's just got no problem getting where he needs to be in the middle of the table. Where if you know, as anybody else, you get a little bit out of line on this table, these guys seem to start to panic just a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, the upper echelon players, the reason why they win or run deep more often is it's not letting your opponent to the table near as much during the matches, you know what I mean? It's putting together some racks. It doesn't have to be 4 in a row or whatever. Just when you win a game here and there, add another one with a break and run. Maybe stitching up with a safety and then another run, another break and run. So I think that's what you're seeing here from Mr. Neuhausen. All right, good to look. Good to look, really, when you're not 100%. Like that a lot.
Yeah, is he just a little afraid that he might end up on the rail here? Doesn't want to cheat it much.
Just draw back an inch, maybe. Oh, he's going forward, maybe. Okay, just stunned. Thought he might pinch it back a couple inches and just play one cushion up, but this looks pretty doable, pretty easy.
Heading for a clean kill in rack 4. The Reyes Cup place was clinched yesterday. Once he'd got to the semi-finals, he couldn't be overtaken. So he'll be on his way to Manila tomorrow. It all starts there on Thursday. Wonderfully efficient stuff, picking up where he left off in the semi-final a few hours ago. 3 in a row now for Moritz Neuhausen. Scott, you were saying yesterday when Labutis was playing Carlo Biado that you felt late in the day the conditions can get particularly tough, but no sign of that so far tonight.
No, it's kind of odd, actually. I was just thinking about that. I actually predicted it earlier when I was talking in the last match. I expected it starting at 7 p.m. here in Hanoi time, but it doesn't feel like it did last night in here, and we've got so many more people.
Yeah, but I think what maybe that is we had a lot of sunshine today versus yesterday. We had a ton of rain, super sticky all day. Maybe a little more pull on this table than it was before. Today we only had a couple matches, so who knows? I mean, I think the sunshine helped us for this evening match.
And the people of Hanoi, and no doubt further afield, have turned out their numbers once again, hoping to see more of the final night excitement and atmosphere that we've come to associate with this tournament. So early days, but Neuhausen at that stage now where if he can win 1 or 2 more, he's starting to put a lot of distance between himself and his opponent. We've seen it in a number of big finals already this year, where a player has just streaked away early on. And that's what's on his mind here. 3-1 up, playing nicely.
Caught it a little thick.
Yeah, I think it was 2 or 3 breaks in a row where he hit it a little thick, and then one time a little thin in his last match. Struggled twice low with the 1 and then once high, I believe back to back to back.
Yeah, I don't think the 1 passes the 5. A little awkward cueing. So he's got to make a decision here.
Even that little head shake right there that we see from Pijus, we just haven't seen that at all from Moritz. He's not given us anything. He just looks extremely confident, unbothered by everything. Now, I'm not saying Pijus is giving us that, but nobody else has been unbothered like Moritz so far this week, in my opinion.
I think if it doesn't go in the corner, you got to take on the cut in the side. You may have to float it with a hair of inside to come 1 rail between the 6-9, but I think no matter how you want to shoot it, you got to attack. Yeah, really good.
I love his transition, does all the work from up top. Once he's down on the ball, it's really just kind of like keys into the cue ball and lets it go. He's one of my favorite players once he's down on the ball.
Spoke about Neuhausen and the Mosconi situation. Well, Pijus Labutis, if he can win this, we'll have to do all the maths afterwards, but I think that would more or less get the job done and clinch that Mosconi debut. He'll be the first player from Lithuania ever to be involved.
Yeah, I think he'd like to get a little more out close to center here, maybe even draw 2 rails out or go forward 2 rails. You just don't want to have to deal with the 6 or the 7, and that's why he's trying to get all the way down here.
Yeah, with the 7 so close, you really got a lot of options on how you want to play it, especially coming down and getting pretty close quarters with the 5 here. He's used the draw stroke quite often in the semifinal. Looks like he's going 2 rails with inside. Yeah, really good.
He's another player, doesn't mind going forward. Looks really good, actually a little quicker. The ball's entering the pocket really well. A little quicker than normal once he's down on the ball as well. Tells me he's quite comfortable.
Played on this table last night, played on it again earlier today, and all that helps with adjusting to being in a big final for the first time.
You touched on it, Jeremy, and the race to 13 also gives these guys a little bit more breathing room. Big difference from 11 to 13. Allows them to kind of flow into their game.
You know, Labutis missed the safety, you know, a little short on that safety earlier when he got pinned behind the 6 off the pink from Neuhausen, but and a dry break here, but been pretty flawless stuff from both guys here in the first 5 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Both very efficient in taking their chances, and Labutis gets back to only 1 behind again. It's now 3-2. What was it like, JJ, as we look at Mickey Kraus there, last year's European Open winner? What was it like when you first played in a really big final? Is it possible to put it all to one side and not be constantly aware of what a new experience it is?
Yeah, I mean, my first really big final, I got dusted. I was so happy to make the final. It was the Camel Pro Billiard Series. I played Earl Strickland in the final, and I just kind of forgot where I was at and what I was doing the entire week, and I kind of got off course. So, but I think these guys are a little more in tune with things these days, and you know. But the good thing is, it'll remind you real quickly what you did wrong, you know. And so from there, it got a lot better in finals. But yeah, I mean, you just got to. That's why your process is so important. What you do prior to getting down on the ball really means a heck of a whole lot. It really keeps you engaged in just that one shot. You can't unsee you're in the Hanoi Open final, but you can do everything you can to dilute that a bit.
Labutis breaking, looking to get level again. Oh, how do you like that, Scott?
Yeah, he's really going to like it. Still got work to do coming clean out of this corner with the cue ball. Only because he's probably going to have to use the rail here. Can get away from you at times. It's really all about this shot, Michael. Yeah, this tells me he can come straight out, but he'll probably use the rail. Okay, this is what I was touching on, right? Getting towards the center of the table. Moritz has been exceptional at it. A lot of other guys struggling just due to the speed of the bed. Nothing to panic about here. He can 1 rail up and out to the top row.
talked about Labutis and his Mosconi dreams. He's been involved in a big team event once before. Different format, though. The only time Lithuania have ever played in the World Cup of Pool, he was involved 4 years ago. He actually took on Germany in the first round, who went on to win the title, and gave him a close contest. It was only 7-4 in the end. That was before Neuhausen was involved in the German World Cup team.
I actually really liked the way he struck the 5, caught the point on the side pocket, was never really threatening a scratch. Yeah, notice how the 6 went in, stark contrast to how he played Carlo Beato last night. Nothing going in clean. I think we're in for a pretty serious treat here by both of these guys.
So it's going to be one break and run apiece already in this final. From 3-1 down, it's back-to-back racks for Pijus Labutis. The Lithuanian levels at 3-all. Really was such a landmark moment for him earlier today to win that semi-final against Robbie Capito. Been in 3 big semi-finals before. Lost hill-hill to Mark Bijsterbosch in the first of those at the Spanish Open back in the summer of 2023. And then I'd also played Capito in the semis of the UK Open in Telford last year. And it was another close one, 11-9 it finished in Capito's favour. A familiar feeling of semi-final defeat again in Sarajevo at the European Open back in the spring. Bit more comfortable though this time for Joshua Filler, who beat him 11-6. See Labutis, Scott, as someone who, if he could get across the line here and win a big title for the first time, could go on to add more of them over the next few years?
Yeah, that's exactly what I see with him. He's got that power, and he has been close, right? He's really knocking on the door, and I think he considers this one of the biggest tournaments in the world, right? The stage is definitely set for that. And there's no question he's the type of player that could carry the momentum forward.
Has won a ranking title. In fact, it came earlier this year at the Estonia Open back in May when he beat Kasper Matikainen in the final. That was after losing 2 previous world ranking finals. And those smaller events have very strong fields. They take some winning, but this is a whole different level to come here and win a major title.
Very particular, that young man.
I was going to say, what on earth is he doing there?
Particular, we notice he puts the chalk exactly on each diamond, right? He's particular in his movements.
Yeah, we noticed him earlier on in the match, actually. When it was slightly off, he kind of got up from the shot again just to move it. He was explaining to me the other day that's a focus thing, a routine thing. And he sensed these people have a lot more pool to enjoy this evening here in the Vietnamese capital. It's been a long week. I hope he doesn't fall asleep under there. Got a final to play. But he's only 21. This is early in the evening for him. Just a sort of quiet confidence about him, isn't there? It's like he knows how good he is, but he never feels the need to tell anyone.
Yeah, he's been going about that all week. And really, that's how he is at every event. I would assume that towel might be a bit damp, just to keep the head a little cool. I know in warm climates I always had some type of a wet towel with me and a dry towel.
Labutis re-entering the ring, as it were, looking like a boxer, or at least a boxing trainer, with the towel around his neck. Kraus there again, looking on. I wonder how long it'll be before we see him in a big final again. Such a breakout year for him in 24, winning the European Open. Lots of other good results, and ended up playing in the Reyes Cup and the Mosconi Cup. 25 could end up being a similar year for these two. So Labutis, after his break and run, is back level and back breaking.
Caught a big flick off the bottom of the 9. Not going to have anything on the 2. Might not have got into it quite as much as he wanted. I believe the cue ball one railed directly off the bottom of the 9. Yeah, maybe just a bit up on the cue ball with the tip. Trying to figure out where you want to go here. The 3 low. It's okay to just tuck down on this side. I think you could cross this over like you're just crossing it almost towards the 9. Use the 4 and 3, potentially the 5. He's going to go this way. Get past the 4. He's done very well. Very, very well. Yeah, I don't know if the 9 has him cut off from the jump. You can see there it does not. Got to gamble playing 9-ball at times, and he took a little bit of a chance there. That's really all he could do. Jeremy Jones did step away, in case you're all wondering. He's taking a couple of photographs.
Yeah, not holiday snaps, we should point out. He's gone off to do some promotional photos ahead of his role as captain of the rest of the world team in the Reyes Cup, starting in Manila on Thursday. He'll be back with us very shortly.
Yeah, I like what he's considering here, steering away from the jump cue. If you can catch any bottom half, even the top half of the 2, a lot of good things can happen. So many balls left on the table for this to end up okay. The key is obviously contact. He'll pick the side. Well, I said the key is contact, but you must catch a rail after.
And a chance for Labutis to lead for the first time since it was 1-0.
Okay, a little surprise there. I think you want to run about a foot further to come to the right side of the table off the red 3. You can see he's almost dead straight here. All right, he's going to finish on the rail. He's got work left. You'll notice when they're drawing the cue ball, they're using an open bridge. drier climate, cooler room. The closed bridge comes in handy a little bit more, but not really doable here in Hanoi. Forced himself into becoming a shot maker this rack, starting out with ball in hand on the 2. Leveled out here. It's going to work. Punchy, drove it into the left long rail. We saw a bunch of that last night, Michael, particularly on the 6. Not saying there's any relation there.
So this time, ball in hand, not decisive. And a chance for a big steal from Neuhausen early on in this final.
Side of the table looks okay, but he can draw 2 rails over behind or below the left side. It's preference here. Acting like he doesn't like it. Let up on the swing. Wanted to get closer to the side pocket. Yeah, he is snookered.
Turned into one of those racks now where whoever loses it will have grounds for regret.
Yeah, rack number 7. Rack number 7, a little iffy from both sides here.
Everything he wanted, but he's going to make him earn it. Is he not shooting at this?
Crowd getting excited for a moment. Prospects for the 9. But Neuhausen should now take the rack from here.
It's amazing with that jump cue with the banks, how it kind of twists the bank always, right? It really always holds it up. You could tell he cut that quite a bit. The cue ball went way to the side rail.
So the miss 6 cost Labutis his chance. Neuhausen back into the lead at 4-3. I was saying earlier about Labutis and all the close finishes. He's had 4 of them. At a 9-7, a 10-8, a 10-9, well, an 11-8 as well, so 3 racks in the difference there. But still a close one. Neuhausen, though, it's been a very different story. He's won all his matches by a margin of at least 4. You look at some of the really good players he's beaten by big margins. 10-3 against the vastly experienced David Al-Qaidi, and 11-4 earlier against Harry Vergara, who once again has lit up the Hanoi Open.
Yeah, good finish there from Neuhausen, right? Had the 7, 8, 9 left on the table. You got to expect him to clear out. He didn't. Snookered himself on the 8. Just played it cool. Moved the 8 to the top of the table. Ended up paying off.
More oohs and ahs as the 9-ball threatened for a moment. But how's this finished?
It's finished in a bit of a mess is what it's finished. The 2 does not pass the pink 4.
Yeah. One thing about pool is you cannot practice all the different scenarios. There's just too many combinations of things, and he's going to have to go to the bank here and figure something out, because you don't want to push out, right? If you can, with a look like this, you want to be able to figure something out that you like. Is there a rail first that he can come across and maybe get the cue ball behind the 6 and the 5?
Yeah, maybe just thinking the 8's I was looking at that, Jay. Maybe the 8 was just a little big for that, or a little risky. This is a tough position, though, unless he's considering getting it back and maybe using the 4 and the 8.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised he gets this back. He was really close to the ball and didn't like anything. Now he's all the way down table and on the rail. I mean, it'd be hard for me to take this one on.
Yeah, I think he gets it back. I'll be surprised if he takes this. Can't imagine him just edging this 2 towards the 4. I think that's dangerous. I feel like he wants to maybe try to 2-rail it between the 4 and 8 and tuck down, but I don't know if that's possible. What I was expecting. So the angle was there to do that, so maybe the pass up wasn't the right play. Yeah, that cue was straight up and down to get the blue in. This is a 3-7-9. Feel like he's got to cut the 3 quite a bit.
Yeah, it looks like it's a stretch, the triple combo. Well, actually, tell you what, with some draw spin also, he may be able to play the 3 off the 7 while going on the 9. So he's so good running the cue ball, though, and hitting his mark, to come behind the 4-8 with the cue ball here off the right side of the 3.
I don't hate the combination, Jay.
I don't either. I really want to try and make the 3 as well. He needs some draw spin.
Went for the 3-7-9 combination, and he has really given the Hanoi crowd a thrill there. Quick finish to rack 8. He's level again at 4-all. Just the sort of thing crowds love to see.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at the speed at which he hit that. I was with Jeremy on the 3 ball to the lower left.
Yeah, well, he had get some other balls moving, right? So maybe the 3 escapes up table somehow too, with the cue ball staying down here if he misses the 9. But what a shot! Not only on the combination, but to bury the jump to get that chance.
Labutis has really turned things around from just a couple of months ago. And the 2 majors that were played more or less back-to-back in the US, he didn't even make single elimination in either of them. And he didn't have a brilliant Perry Open either. Went out quite tamely, really, in the last 32, beaten heavily by Skylar Woodward. But it's always been the thing about him, especially with this phase he's got to in the last couple of years where he's been doing well in a lot of tournaments. He can go through a run where he doesn't do much and then suddenly turns up at a major event and goes deep in it. 4-all in the final. Oh, seems every rack now the 9 is threatening.
Yeah, definitely getting a lot of movement, whether it's the bottom half of the 9 or the top half. Big brown 7 ball down there. If you could tuck under it, you could just shave the top side of the 2, use the 3 and 9. Might just use the 5 here. Yeah.
Does he have to go to the top rail, manipulate with a little spin? Oh, there he goes. Oh, can he get behind the 3 deep enough? That's definitely the way to go. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if he could get deep behind that ball and try and really, control what's going on. Otherwise, unless you're just going for that make, it was going to be hard-pressed to have any real positive outcome.
So missed the chance to regain the lead a couple of racks ago. The opportunity has come around again.
Watch for a little thick here on to the side rail. This is where the table has changed, where it won't accept the ball like it may on day 1 or 2. That was clean.
Similar shot right here. It's always a good feeling to knock those in clean. Wants to get up towards the 6 here. And won't have to fight with the 8. You see him look away a little bit. Might be forced to go forward now.
It's just all about knowing you don't have to come all the way down. Just somewhere around that side pocket, stay off the rail with the cue ball.
Yeah, he might have been better off to stay just above the side pocket there. He's going to have to force it a little. Didn't want to introduce the 9. Can come 2 rails long in between the 8 and 9, if you'd like. I think you can hit it with a little less speed if you do that, instead of trying to draw it in front of the 9. That's going to be sweet.
Pijus Labutis ran out with ball in hand. to win the opening rack of this final. He hasn't led it again since. Until now, Labutis hits the front once more at 5-4. I think she's really starting to feel the tension already. What's it going to be like if he gets to 11 or 12?
Yeah, it looks like pure pride in those big blue eyes, if you ask me. She is ready for her man to take the crown.
You got to say, Scott, they both look to me like they're really enjoying being out there.
Yeah, I feel like we're looking at the best two players of the week, to be honest, and that's something that we don't always see in a final.
Lithuania, small country, only about 3 million people, if even that. Basketball is king there. The national football team has a World Cup qualifier in a few hours' time. But all of that could have to compete for attention with a 9-ball pool. If Pijus Labutis can take home one of the biggest titles in the game sometime in the next hour or two. And it really has become established very quickly, Jeremy, as one of the titles that all the players want to put on their CV.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the energy you get and, you know, the atmosphere that's been here. And it's been, not only that, a couple of pretty big names in front of these two guys right here, right? Jason Shaw and Johan Chua. First glance, you know, not first glance, we're 9 games in, but now we have a little bit of a, you know, look at these guys, a few guys times breaking. Looks a little more repeatable from Pijus than it does Neuhausen. Seems a little smoother delivery.
Yeah, it's what I've noticed in the last couple days as well. Just on the break shot. After that, different ball game, but no question. Yeah, I think you could try to slam this in, but I don't know that Moritz would go at this. Will Labutis. Yeah, I was asking a lot, Michael. Clean to the corner with the 3. Very easy to take those for granted, knowing that you've got a big pocket. Speaking of pockets, there's really nothing for the green 6. 5 does carry you there.
It's become part of the changing of the seasons now, hasn't it? Every time this part of the year rolls around, we have these 2 big events in Vietnam back-to-back. The Perry Open and then this major tournament, the Hanoi Open. Neuhausen looking to be the first to win them both in the same year. Previous 2 winners both came here and did well. Feder Gorst and Francisco Sanchez Ruiz off the back of their Perry Open wins. Both made the last 8 here.
Yeah, does he juice this up? Try and come above? Okay, I like it. Keep it simple.
Yeah, the 6 doesn't pass the 7, I don't believe, though, so he's got to make a nice one here. Not only pocket the ball in the corner, but maneuver into position.
Yeah, does he feel a little more comfortable just coming all the way below it? Yeah, that's what I was wondering. He's overhit it, though. actually under hit the cue ball, over hit the pace. Maybe a bit of the tip rising once again. And this is what he does, Michael. He just goes ahead with it, doesn't find the position he wants, but is okay with distance. This is nasty. Looking to kick and stick behind this. Want to get deep behind it. Oh, he has. Oh, and it caught the point. Talk about trusting your swing. We've seen him pass these up. I don't know that you can do that here, especially with the 9 where it's at. There's nothing wrong with just trying to bury the 6 and go at the 9 here. If you happen to miss the 9, you should be okay.
Yeah, this may be unlucky here. He's going to get bent behind the 8. 9-ball pool can be cruel, but and it is early, but one of the best shots in the match so far.
I just feel like he's really bearing down on this ball, trying to knuckle it in.
The shoulders sinking. The chalk grabbed off the rail. Neuhausen knows he could be 2 behind for the first time in the match in just a few moments.
That was pure. Very pure.
Yeah, the draw stroke has been his friend not only in this final, but many times in that semifinal.
Neuhausen won 3 racks in a row early on. Now Labutis has done the same, and he's a couple clear for the first time in the Hanoi Open final. Well, Scott, we talk about the importance of momentum even in long matches. That's now 5 of the last 6 racks that have gone the way of Labutis. Worrying times for the German.
Yeah, he looks like a little bit of a different player to me here in the final versus any of the other matches that I've covered with him. And looky here. Who do we have in the booth?
I was going to say, you never know what's going to happen next around here. And I was also going to say Emily Fraser, I think, has got something to say. But then again, when is she not? Emily, what would you like to say about all this and everything else that's going on?
Well, I just keep looking at the crowd as well, and I think that there's so many people in here in this venue that you can't actually try and capture it all on the cameras, obviously, in here. The crowd have been phenomenal all week, and they have, like, boy, they've turned out for today. The stands are full up there, and they're so engaged, like, every shot they're cheering, and it's just so fantastic to see, you know, see how this event has grown over the last 3 years. And how excited everyone is. And, you know, it was a special moment earlier today. We announced Dong Kok Kwan for the Reyes Cup next week. Obviously, it was a matchroom wild card. We bought him out. Obviously, I played a little prank on him. That's been doing the rounds on social media. And we told him he was playing an exhibition game against Jason Shaw today, and told him he's not in the Reyes Cup. Then all of a sudden turned around and said, "You're in." And, you know, we just saw that raw emotion from him, and that was such a beautiful thing to see. And then he stepped out to this great arena and this wonderful crowd, and they all were just chanting for him. And if you just think 3 years ago what Dong Kok Kwan was doing from Vietnam, his profile has grown. He's playing in all the World 9-Ball Tour ranking events, and he has put himself on the global map as a professional sportsman.
That's exactly what I've talked about. It's really been about 3 years here where he's put himself on the map. But the key to that, in my opinion, is that his game has grown into that as well. Being a pick for the Reyes Cup, I think it's well worthy. He was one of my picks to win the tournament. I actually topped 2 picks because I truly feel that his game has stepped up to his stardom. And I think that he can back it up. We've seen it. It's unfortunate for me because he was one of my picks, Emily, that he's not in the finals. But I'm excited that he's in the Reyes Cup.
Well, exactly, and obviously the whole point of the World 9-Ball Tour going to different locations is to develop the grassroots of the sport in this area, and to see someone like him develop and to actually get into the invitational events and play in a bigger arena, play in front of the crowd, and to be on the same team as the world champion Carlo Biardo, to be on the same team as those kind of guys, that's huge. And he was under pressure last year, but he stepped up to the plate. He always shows and he says that he's nervous, but he's got game and he can play. And look, it's just fantastic to be here in Vietnam, and I can't wait to do more events here and to grow the sport here.
And you mentioned new locations there, and I know I'm putting you on the spot, but you kind of asked for it by sitting down next to us. Anywhere in mind that we might be heading in 2026 that we've not been before?
Oh, good question, Michael. I'm actually working on a new location in the United States. We know 9-Ball originated there. We know there's huge demand for it. Obviously, the US Open will be moving to another state, so that's going to be a new location. But we're working on a new open style similar to the Florida Open, Michael. So that's going to be interesting.
And do you see that then as being a 3-event swing, the way the Florida Open and the US Open came together this year? Would all 3 then come together at the same time of the year and players could go and play 3 big events in a row?
I'd quite like to keep the US Open as a standalone event. The prize money's higher, support it with 2 other ranking events potentially. Then also do this back-to-back. The new Open, nearly gave it away as to where we're looking at. We should be announcing this by next week, by the way, this new Open in the US. And then having the Florida Open after that. But these ranking events in the US, they're also developing professional pool in those areas, and we're coming away from, the bars where the pool tables are, and it's more about developing those actual pool halls. Like the ranking event we've got coming up this November in Florida. The more of those we can do, the better that we can inspire the next generation of pool players coming through the US. We know we need to do something with this Mosconi Cup and Team USA, so it's about those junior events, more players coming through, obviously in the United States. That's something we're super excited about.
Meanwhile, back in this Hanoi Open final, for the first time in the match, Labutis did not make the one in the side. He made it in another pocket, and he's got a chance all of a sudden to go 3 clear here.
So, Michael, you're the stat man. Talk me through, so anyone who's watching at home, what happens here with rankings depending on who wins tonight.
Yeah, so Labutis, whatever happens, is going to be knocking on the door of the top 10, probably just outside it if he loses. He's looking at being around 7 in the world if he wins the final. Continuing the great progress he's made. Neuhausen's going to be around that number, win or lose, and looking at it, he could potentially be as high as about 6th, but also very close to breaking into the top 5 if he takes the title. That's what winning 2 big money events in a row can do for you.
But then you've also got the Philippines Open that's coming up, a brand new Open this year. That's going to be the end of the month after the Reyes Cup, of course. I heard that Francisco Bustamante wants to play in the Philippines Open, Scott.
Well, I had lunch with him, Emily. I'm going to say something. He said you want him to play. You know what I told him? I said I want him to play.
Just tell him everyone wants him to play.
Well,
of course
I think we
do.
all do want him to play. He's such a superstar, and don't worry, the guy could still perform on this stage that we're watching right now. He's a stone-cold killer.
What do you think about his pick with AJ Manis?
I think it's a great pick. I mean, listen, I love AJ Manis. I'm a little partial to Albert Januarta, right? But I love AJ Manis. I think he's young. I think that the Philippines are going to absolutely love him. He's a superstar, a.k.a. Star Boy. So we'll see how he handles it out there.
Yeah, and the one thing that Django said to me when he picked it, he said, like I said, the one thing I'm a little bit worried about is, you know, putting him out there into that arena if he's not ready. And he said, "Ma'am, don't worry about that. That's my job." And respect to it. It's, you know, it's, you kind of go big or you go home. This is an ideal opportunity for AJ Manis to show the whole world what he's really capable of, and to have a team around him, to have a Carlo Biardo, the world champion, on the same team as him. I nearly just gave away who the last pick was then. I'm just holding it to myself. And to have someone like Django in your corner as your coach. I mean, what more could you want?
Well, Pijus Labutis was 3-1 down in this final. For Moritz Neuhausen, that must feel like a long time ago now. It's now 6 of the last 7 that have gone the way of the Lithuanian. As this final goes on, he's just growing in strength, growing in belief, and now growing a substantial lead. The first time in the match that either player has been 3 clear. And he's more than halfway to victory now, Scott. Significant moments here in Hanoi tonight.
Yeah, and welcome to the World 9-Ball Tour. He struggled the last couple of days out early. He hasn't really struggled early here. He's just been solid, steady as it goes. Moritz Neuhausen struggling on the break. That's really where I think the department's showing up at the moment. Where Pijus has been breaking well all week, he's been struggling after the break.
Last year, Emily, we left here on the Sunday night, well, the Monday morning for most of us, and then it was Tuesday we were into the Reyes Cup, and of course it was great to be there, but it all felt like there wasn't really enough time to breathe and switch the focus. It's great this year that there's a full few days lead into the big event.
Yeah, I like to think that we just don't like to make it easy for everyone here. So it's like, get on your flight. I mean, we did the trophy presentation, and I'm not going to lie, I was sweating it. Like, table side, I'm thinking, oh gosh, this is going to go hill, and we're going to be under it here. We're all going to miss our flight. Johan Chua was on our flight as well. He obviously took the event down, but it always makes it a bit exciting. But like you said, Michael, we landed in Manila. We had the press conference straight away the next day, and then the Reyes started on the Tuesday. This year, obviously, the Reyes will be starting on Thursday, but one of the reasons why we wanted to do that was obviously the weekend. So we're going to run the Reyes Cup Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And just having year one, like 1,500 fans turning up for this event, but paying fans, not like the Mosconi Cup 30 years ago, you're trying to drag people in off the street and saying, come into this event. But people actually wanting to attend this event. So to have it across a weekend, I mean, guys, you're obviously going to be there. You're going to see this setup. We're closing the street to the venue for Fans Village. Now, this is going to be so exciting. We've got, obviously, pool tables out there. You've got all the food and beverage as well, and it's going to be a party atmosphere. You're just getting a bit of a glimpse of it now. The music in between the racks, the atmospheres, you know, high. It's going to be dramatic. But these invitationals, you know, the race to 5, the Mosconis, the Reyes Cup, they're exciting, aren't they, Scott? I mean, Scott, you were there last year as well. We're going to have JJ as a captain this year.
Yeah, and I think it's well-deserved that he gets a real solid team on his hands, right? I don't think there's a better format than the team format like the Mosconi Cup and the Reyes Cup. But when you announced the Reyes Cup, I always said from day one, I said this could potentially be the biggest event ever in Q Sports history. And going forward, I think it has that ability.
Just a little bit of history repeating at the start of this rack, because after making the one in the side pocket with his first 6 attempts, he's failed with the last 2, but on both occasions has managed to make another ball. Ran out from it in the previous rack, and looking a massive favourite to do the same again here. It's turning in to a bit of a runaway.
Yeah, and you don't want to say he's getting lucky making another ball on the break, but they are playing the one to the side. So a bit fortunate. This guy, though, is not giving anything away. I don't think he's thinking about anything but his next opportunity at the table.
We've seen Pijus Labutis obviously like knocking on the door of all of these open events, probably the last 2 years really, and you do feel that he gets to the semi-finals, or he's a very consistent player. It would be, I mean, I obviously remain very unbiased in any of these matches, but it would be quite incredible to see him take a trophy for this open event, because you feel like he does deserve that win.
Well, there was a lot of scar tissue from those semi-finals he'd been in before, because 2 of them were very, very close, one of them hill. And some of that must have come into his mind earlier today when it was going close again against Robbie Capito, particularly when he fell behind, having led for most of the way. But he finished it out so so strongly. And he's getting close to the point where we're in finishing territory again. These the moments of rack 12. The 5th in a row that has gone the way of Pijus Labutis.
What's it like, Scott? Obviously sitting out there, the professional game's obviously changed a lot the last couple of years, and to be sat in an arena this size, there's probably over, I'd say there's about 2,000 fans in here tonight. These kind of, you know, it's humid, obviously, but it's tough for these players, and it must be quite a challenge to get this over the line, to win this kind of event.
I think it's absolutely wonderful for them, though. It's an aspect that we didn't have. First off, the crowd. I mean, it's just insane. We didn't have this when we were younger. I don't care what tour we were on, the biggest of the biggest tours. You guys have brought the level of these players up so high, giving them so much to play for and so much to play in. Forget about the money. These guys thinking about the crowd right there, playing under these situations and circumstances, it really makes you or breaks you.
Labutis dominant at the moment, and 4 racks clear. Back to making the one in the side, Scott. Ominous signs here.
Yeah, he's got to look on the blue as well. Might be tricky. 3-4, a little funny up top. I wish I could explain how high these seats are and how high these people are.
I know what you
It's
mean.
insane. Pictures don't do it justice. It just
No.
does not. I'm telling you, it's 100 foot up in the air. It's insane.
That's the thing. No matter how many cameras I think we stick up there, you really don't get this atmosphere unless you are in this arena. I mean, this is one of the stops on the tour that I would urge any amateur player to come along to, because you just don't experience an event like this. I mean, I can't wait to even start planning again for next year, to be honest, and how the tour is going to be. You know, the schedule's really, really shaping up nicely next year. We're going to be dropping that schedule at the Moscone Cup.
Ooh.
Oh, did you not know that?
I heard that.
Oh,
I just heard that.
maybe I thought I was just saying that in my head. I kind of
heard
forget.
that.
And speaking of schedules, Emily, I think back on Tuesday evening when the whole first day had been wiped out, we must have all been wondering, would we get this done in time?
Oh,
But
gosh.
here we are, it all happened, and what an effort it was to get back on track.
I must say we do have the best team on the planet. No matter what happens, what gets sort of thrown at us, we just got to come up with a plan and make it work. To be fair, we had probably like 27 million different contingencies, and you always just think, right, what if this happens? What if that happens? But everyone came together here on the ground, obviously with our partners at Via Content and the Matchroom team, and we just thought, right, what do we do to get this event ahead, but in the safety of, you know, of all the players and the staff, and we made the right call. And obviously things cleared up here, and it's been great that the fans have been able to come to this arena and that they came in the next day as well. And obviously my thoughts and wishes go out to everyone here in Hanoi or in Vietnam that have been affected obviously by the weather conditions, but to be sat here on the Sunday with the final and the schedule not too affected is a great thing that's happened.
That was a big moment to get by there, the green 6. And this could start to creep away from Moritz.
Well, I'm thinking back to a Sunday evening in Telford in May when Aloysius Yap, looking for his first major title, played sublime stuff.
It feels like years ago, May
does.
in Telford, doesn't it?
He's won 2 more major titles since then. The thing with him was he did it straight out of the blocks. Labutis wasn't struggling early on. He took a while to really assert himself. And he's had a little bit of help off the break in the 2 racks before this. This one was all his own work, and now it's half a dozen in a row. And all of a sudden, Pijus Labutis needs only 4 more to be a major champion.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I'm going to swap out for JJ, and I will see you both
In Manila.
In Manila,
In the
at Race
airport
Cup.
tomorrow morning, early doors.
Thanks for everything, Emily.
Thank you.
JJ, you were away for a few racks there. I'm not sure Moritz Neuhausen got to the table in the time we were away. What a turnaround in this final.
Yeah. Pijus, I tell you, he's breaking the balls nice. And again, the end of that semifinal may have really helped going into this final.
And you know, when you're trying to get to the finish line to win a major title for the first time in any sport, it's bound to help if things are a little more comfortable. Of course, there's always going to be that doubt until the job's done. But if you're going to get to 12 and be one away, you'd much more fancy the job if it was something like 12-6, 12-7 than if it was a lot closer than that. And that's the kind of lead that Labutis is threatening to build here. And at the moment, there's absolutely nothing Neuhausen can do about it. He's 5 behind now. Racks to go, potentially. Neuhausen is going to have to win 9 of them.
Yeah, the one just looks like a cold-blooded hanger at the moment for Labutis, and it's going to be a push-out, so Moritz is going to have a choice here.
Yeah, and ironically, JJ, while Emily was in the booth, he missed the one on the side twice, made something else, and got a look at the one. Performing some surgery here.
He's a pretty cool customer, Ben Taylor Fuente.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that job.
Talk about a steady hand.
Has it been 6 in a row that he's won?
Yep. It was 4-3 down, and then it was that 3-7-9 combination in the 8th rack which started this wonderful run he's been on.
Yeah, probably didn't want the cue ball off the rail this much. There's a lot more options. Yeah, and really a simple safety. Got to make him shoot that from the cushion, really.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he was intending to be that far off the rail. Labutis shooting away from the 9 there, I think kind of slipped off his tip somehow.
Yeah, lucky to have the bottom side. He can bring the cue ball back behind the 5 and the 8. Didn't quite get enough on it, but overall, you know, he'll take it. 9-4 lead, you just want to make your opponent earn it when they're at the table. Now, is it comfortable enough to slide off the edge here? It doesn't look too good to me to try and get behind the 4-6, so he's got to think of something pretty crafty here, I think.
Yeah, hard to chip it over towards the 7. You could leave a shot coming down behind the 5 and 8. I don't know. I don't mind it, though, JJ, trying to tuck behind the pink, but it is touchy.
Yeah, it looks like the 2's going to be out in space, not very protected, but that's part of it sometimes. Just got to hit right before the side, it looks like, coming off that second cushion. Oh.
We played something similar earlier where we knew that the 2 was going to be somewhere near the pocket. This time it's in. Now he's got trouble on the 3.
He can get at it, whether it be ball first or rail first. If he comes rail first behind it, he's kind of got to do it slowly, right? You got to make sure you get in behind this ball and let it just kind of filter down the table. Oh, okay. I didn't know he could get to the right side of the 3. That's a bonus.
Get at the 3 here. I don't know what he can do with it.
Should be put in a similar situation, trying to get behind the brown 7 as he banks the 3 down table.
I wouldn't be so much concerned about the 3 here as I would getting the cue ball up behind the 7, making sure that's cover. Probably going to see the jump cue, and he could just kind of slam at the 3 and gamble a little bit going into the 5. Or is it too thin, the 9 in the way? Looks to me like he's entertaining the 2-rail kick behind the 3.
Yeah, he may be able to jump at a sliver of it, but from that distance, any miss hit on the cue ball with the jump, you're probably going to foul. These guys are so good feeling this 2-rail kick. Nestle on the 3, so little things at the moment, plus some stellar play from Labutis. Can he chip and go behind the pink here?
He's going to leave a look. It's not an easy look.
Yeah, he didn't want to add that little bit of left spin. I don't blame him. Thought it could do it just natural.
Really never could gain position. Such a sweet hit there.
Yeah, well, that just tells you a lot about how he's feeling at the moment, right? Scott felt like he could get over here to play this nice safety. And that's the best feeling, when you just don't feel like you're going to miss any balls.
Neuhausen is well used to being in finals. It's his first major individual final, at the very least, but he's been playing in finals from a young age. Won the World Under-17s in Nicosia and Cyprus in 2019. World Under-19s a couple of years later in Austria. Won the Premier League and the Perry Open this year. He finds a way to get it done in finals. But he's not finding that way now and needs this to pull up or drop.
I'll tell you what, he got a lot out of that ball. I didn't think he could clear it and get that much momentum off of the 4. Really good effort.
Can't see him not getting to double digits here, and the way he's breaking the balls and the safety return percentage plays he's had, it's going to be very hard to make this comeback, I believe.
Not an emotional player, but the last 2 matches he's had, he showed quite a bit of emotion once those matches were over. Maybe a lot to do with how he finished them and how they went. But you can rest assured, Michael, I think if he happens to win this, we're going to see some pretty serious emotion release.
Yeah, both of those last 2 matches, he was in danger of letting them slip away, but came through in the end. This is developing in such a way, though, that it's going to take something superhuman now for Neuhausen. 7 in a row. Jeremy, on what turned out to be the first day, which was Wednesday, after we lost Tuesday's play entirely. I think it was you and I who had a conversation about who our picks for the title were. You went for Fedor Gorst, who went out in the last 64. Is it too early to remind people who I picked for the title all the way back on that first day? Tell the viewers, Jeremy.
Yeah, I think it was Pijus, right?
It was Pijus
yeah.
Labutis.
Yeah, well, good pick, and even if we'll see what happens these last parts of this match, but yeah, a great pick really, and a guy that if he does go on to take it, he's going to get picked again in this spot.
I think it'll be a popular victory if he does take the title. Well liked among the players. Quiet guy, goes about his business, but so much respect and regard for him. And in a way, I'm thinking it's very similar to Robbie Capito last year in Telford, to Mickey Krauts last year in Fulda. Guys who were talked about from an early age, but it took them a while to make that breakthrough. But when they did it very impressively and became major champions. That is where Labutis is at now. Watch out, watch out.
I thought the three was going to get knocked open after dodging the scratch. But if you watch the cue ball path, it's been very consistent back and forth through the rack. Needs a little better push out than the last. Did kick out of it and got control. Made a beautiful shot on the three to get in that safety position. That shows the confidence. He's just got to bank the three between the 9 and 6 backup table, go to the side rail and kill the cue ball, whether it be behind the 9. I don't think he can really kill it that well with a lot of control behind the 5-6. So and this is where you have to say, some would say, yeah, he could pass this. It is a little touchy, but he knows Pijus very well, and he knows that Labutis is executing, so you got to take it on yourself. Oh, really good. That's why a lot of times when you push out, you don't want to leave the bottom half of that cue ball. He's cut off a lot of ways to kick at this ball. Have to bend this between the 9 and 8 back at the 3 ball. Now he's looking, can I get 2 cushions between the 7-8, make it lengthen enough to get at the red 3? The 5's a little difficult. It's a little tricky. Needs like a downward center ball to make this lengthen. Oh, really good. Nice hit. He must have touched the 9 or touched the 5-6 with his cue stick.
And hopefully we can get another look at that. Here it is.
I didn't see anything, but probably get another look in a moment.
Yeah, definitely like to have another look.
Got confirmation that it did rock.
Go cool, BTF.
Yeah, and it doesn't take us to tell y'all he needs all of these, and he's really got to get the break going. this to not be dead froze on the rail. Now he's going to have to shoot the 8 from the cushion. Shouldn't be a problem, but kind of cheated it a bit just to get the cue ball as much as he could off the rail. Still wasn't much.
Well, he needed this. He needed this. And stuck on 4 for such a long time. Finally, he's registered again. Still a long road back from here, but the lead is cut ever so slightly to 10-5. And I know, Jeremy, we spoke about him already earlier on in the week, but this is a very big final, a big title on the line. I think this evening it's important to mention once again someone who was involved in so many big finals and won so many of them over the years. Mika Immonen. A word about him, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a guy that is a hero for a lot of us, and a guy that you remember because he did it kind of his way, the way he played the game so aggressively, and just really a one-of-a-kind player, the player of the decade in the 2000s, and really at a time where it was very difficult to win. I know it's difficult to win now, but it was very difficult to win there. Hall of Famer, has won pretty much everything in the game, and a guy that'll be truly missed.
He was a great winner and a great champion, Scott. Anything to add to what JJ said?
I spent a lot of time with Mika in the early 2000s. Used to stay at his apartment in New York. I got to talk to him at the U.S. Open. Of course, I believe he played the U.S. Open, fought his heart out. He played so good even through everything that he was battling at the end. Really just one of the most natural, gifted players, and made so many waves in his career.
Yeah, and led a lot of great Finnish players today, really. Really inspired a lot of those, and you'll see, you talk about the rest of the world team, and of course JL Chang as well. When you talk about Team Asia, those are guys that are going to be thought about next week, and going to be thought about for a long time. And one of the things that gives me goosebumps is a picture that someone made, or they do incredible things with AI and whatnot today, but how those two are battling it out upstairs these days now, and they won't be forgotten.
So back to the Hanoi Open final of 2025. Moritz Neuhausen, having lost 7 racks in a row, has just taken the 15th. But still a lot of work to do if he's to turn this one around. So what can he do, Scott? Is there anything he can bring to this to spark the sort of revival he needs now?
I think he's just got to rely on what got him here, and I think that's all he's really thinking about. Wait for his opportunities. Just continue to rely on what's got you to this point, right? Let's not forget he won the Perry Open. I don't think he thinks he's anywhere near out of this match. You just got to take it one step at a time. You can't let the lead overwhelm you.
As I was saying, he's a consistent winner of titles of all sorts. He's won smaller ranking events on 3 different continents over the last couple of years. I mentioned all those finals. He played at junior level, played a World Cup final, of course, with Germany and Spain back in the summer of 23. Charged back from a tough position against the Philippines, but it just proved too much for them to overturn in the end.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the final, I mean, yeah, he'd like to have a few shots back, but that's how it always is. But really, he hadn't done a ton wrong. I mean, Labutis has just been outstanding.
No, compared to the mistakes we've seen on this table with a lot of other players, there's nothing that really sticks out that's been terrible from Neuhausen.
Well, they'll certainly be on Neuhausen's side, apart from that lady, of course, right at the front of the picture. They would love to see much more of this.
One thing we do know, though, in And this department's got to get going, whether it's getting control of the games and hoping the safeties hold up, or a few breaking runs you feel like needs to get added in there to make this a true contest coming down the end.
Yeah, and that tells us how good he's actually playing after the break, because I don't feel like his break has stood out to me.
Well, he's going to need a lot out of this cue ball, and I don't know if it's enough. It's very, very close. A nasty cluster up in the corner with the 6, 7, 8.
Wielding his cue mid-air like Zorro, willing that ball to fall in place for him.
Yeah, felt like it was a much better hit. He can get to the 2, but JJ just touched on that cluster. That's going to slow things down a bit. Maybe a 3-9 carom. Can he get to it like that?
That's what I saw. I thought there was a possibility of a 3-9 carom for sure, but I think the 6-7 may be makeable. I'm not sure. That's what he's kind of inspecting now.
Felt like he could get to all of the 2 there, Jay, to draw back, maybe like you're playing the 3 to the lower right corner and going to the 9 at the same time. I don't think he overlooked something. He's at the table. We're not.
I think the 3-9 was definitely, if you could get the cue ball in position, was definitely an option. The kiss shot, that is. Now he's looking for the side. So is he looking to move the 9 in a certain position? Is that why he's playing it here? Yeah, he had a little two-way in mind, maybe making the 9 in the side also.
Yeah, and probably obviously what he had in mind all along from down below. We just didn't see it.
And the funny thing is, it looks like if he makes the 3, he catches that a little thinner. He catches the 9 a little more right towards the pocket as well. Now Labutis, he could play the 4 off the 9, let the 9 get sent at the 6, 7, 8 while holding position on the 5. See if he recognizes that.
I really liked it. I guess he can use the 5 to go into the 6, 7, and 8. If he chooses, he could go short side of the 6, maybe.
Yeah, that's where he's playing, I think. Short side. Maybe not. Maybe the 6, 7. But I just feel like if there was a playable shot on the 6, 7 that Moritz would have played a little different on that 3 ball.
I don't think the 7 is on in any way, shape, or form to the upper left.
You don't want to go into him. Not with a 3rd ball there. So he has something in mind, whether it be a little chip safety, maybe, and take his chances from there. He's not taking much time, so there's something he likes.
Yeah, pretty effective, right? Very simple. Hard to get away from the 6, even if you make a good hit here. Something you would do, Jeremy Jones.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what the real escape here is, or what the best thought is.
Yeah, would you maybe consider returning ball in hand somehow?
He's moving the 9.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to improve that much, though, Scott. I think he chips it and comes back on the 7, 8 here. Off the bottom rail.
From the underside. Yeah, absolutely. You really want to pin him up under the 8, though.
Yeah. He'll be lucky to have a kick if he executes right, even if it's a 3-rail kick up the table. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was a little lazy. I like personally when I'm playing that shot to get closer to the 6 so you can really see the edge of it.
Yeah, this is an opening kind of from nowhere. I think anyways. Not a whole lot you can predict, but may go for the cross-side bank and kind of draw back off the 7 and see what happens. He's trying to double bank it. See how the speed.
I don't exactly know that he was relying on the 7 there, but the speed of the 6 was always good.
Yeah, hard to really catch this how you really want it. To get the 6 up table and hold the ball. Also, he's cueing very awkwardly on the left side of the cue ball with the 8 there, so. May make it, though.
Moritz pretty fortunate to have this. I felt like Labutis was really in the driver's seat with ball in hand on them 6, 7, and 8 up there.
Yeah. One of Neuhausen's best breakoffs was his last here, so it gets back to the breaking in at 10-6. You never know. Just needs a couple feet out of the cue ball here with the draw stroke.
Yeah, I think he could have got where he is now if he just floated the 6 in. So let's see how the back arm holds up. It's been holding up very well over distance, but he's not been trailing too much this week.
Yeah, even if Neuhausen wins, it will be his closest match of the entire championship. The fight back is up and running. 2 in a row for Moritz Neuhausen, having lost the previous 7. And Labutis will be feeling a little more nervous now. The lead looks a lot less secure at 10-6.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, just the first little mental error from Pijus, really. The kicks have been awesome. The safeties have been really good. Maybe a couple push-outs that could have been a hair better, but overall he's been right on point. Just let that ball and hand shot get away.
Yeah, I really felt like it was really due to the placement of the cue ball, just a little far away from it. I guess if you don't experience with those little clusters like a one-pocket player would have, or been in that situation enough, it can easily be taken for granted.
Yeah, I think maybe the stretch also, made him to where he maybe couldn't get the cue ball quite as close as he wanted, but if you're going to come back on the balls like that, if you're going to move the cue ball that, what was it, about 12 to 14 inches to the rail and back, you had to be a little thinner on the hit.
Neuhausen up to the table, in plenty of time, eager to keep going and try to build on the momentum he's just started to generate in the last couple of racks.
We've seen this multiple times, JJ, with Moritz. Often the one high, often low.
Yeah, and he rarely misses it on the thin side. Watch the cue ball. It was about to start arcing back a little bit if it didn't get that kiss, and the guys don't really want to go back above the rack with the cue ball.
2 dry breaks from his last 4 attempts now.
Just using the 7 here? I'm not sure what he's doing. Okay. Kind of a bare ball safety there.
Yeah, a little dangerous crashing into the back of the 6 as thick as he did. Still got there.
And I'll tell you, these guys have really played some safeties to where the kicks are not easy. So I think almost really the jump cue. As bad as I am with the jump cue, I'd probably bring it out here. Not terrible.
Yeah, not at all. immediately look at the cross side, and I'm sure he'll find something else like coming down behind the 6 and 7.
Man, I like the bank myself. Almost a sucker for it, really. Very good. Again, didn't leave the kick so easy. He's almost got to go to the top cushion here and come one rail at it. Kind of kick towards some congestion. And you're kind of looking at the line right there. You know, it's kind of right in front of you.
I think these guys recognize that second ball, meaning the 7 ball. It takes away the jump, forcing the kick. That's where it becomes powerful.
I'll tell you, you got to hand it to Neuhausen. He's not panicking. A lot of guys would have put a bit more speed there, thinking, let me try and create a little luck. Maybe lost their accuracy on the kick. These seasoned veterans at like 22 years old, 21 years old, hard to fade. Come twice at it.
Yeah, I think you have to come twice at it, either real soft or with speed. And I like the speed personally to shake things up a bit and try and get away with something.
Yeah, I agree. And you don't want to come some soft speed and look like you hit it perfect and you just leave them a little too much. You're never going to get a snooker that way either. So you're just hoping for something to get back to the table. Love to come 3 rails behind it, but the 2, you know, that one's in the way.
Great hit, great contact. That's all you can ask for. Might be able to get him up in behind the 8 here. He's looking at it now.
Smart.
What a series on the 1 ball this has been.
Shoulders puffing out. Neuhausen looking every inch like a man involved in a big occasion, and one that he's back in with a genuine chance of winning.
Yeah, this one here feels like he could pull this cue ball towards that corner as well, where the 3's at. There you go.
And it's games like these are the ones that can really propel you, right? Fight, fight, fight. You finally get that look. If you can take advantage and clear here, you can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's an odd 4 ball. So he's going to have to work hard to get out here. He's got a great starter, obviously, but going to have to do a lot to get on the pink 4. I don't think it goes by the 5. Maybe it does. No, he doesn't seem so concerned.
Yeah, I don't know, Jay. I think he might have the inside of the pocket. We're going to find out.
Yeah, the shoulder slumped a little bit at his last look at this 3. to dress up pretty good on this cross side, it looks like. And he will shoot this. This is a game-winning shot to get to 10-7 and breaking.
Don't get too quick here. I've seen these guys shorten this bank up. Stay nice and smooth. You don't have to pound it.
And the awesome thing about this crowd is not only they love it, the energy they give, but how young is it, the crowd? You know what I mean? Like, pretty impressive, really.
It's another reason I think there's so many pool rooms in this town, and they're all modern pool rooms with hundreds of tables.
Yeah, we've seen over the 3 years of the Hanoi Open, you wouldn't even say it's been a gradual improvement in how well the Vietnamese have done year by year. It's been a significant improvement each year. 14 Vietnamese made the final 64 this time.
Looks like he'll follow 2 cushions to play the brown in the middle. Oh, he came out. I thought he might stay underneath there a little bit. Nothing wrong with the corners, though.
Ooh, fell a little straight. He's going to have to cheat this and kind of stun down. I don't see any weakness in the back arm at all, and I haven't at any point from Neuhausen.
Well, he's doing all he can.
Yeah, and this final is right back in the balance now. An entertaining tactical duel on the one ball right at the start. It all finishes with Neuhausen for the second time in the match, winning 3 racks in a row. And now he's only 3 behind. So how is Pijus Labutis going to be feeling now, having been in such a strong position, and he's seen that big lead that he had cut in half?
Well, I mean, I think you got to consider, even though he hasn't taken down one of these yet, he's been in this position a few times. I would consider him a pretty seasoned vet, even at a young age. So he's just going to buy his time, keep trying to play what he feels like his percentage pool. And the other thing is, it was really just that one safety mistake earlier. These were a lot of great exchanges by both players. It just so happens that Neuhausen got the best of it here. So just buy his time again and see what happens. Keep doing this thing. Now, I'm a little fearing this thick hit on the one he's had a few times. Seems like scratches on the break kills the momentum more than anything.
Could still be a lot more pool to play. 10-7.
Much better. Much better. Still going to be funny on the 2, but he can work with this.
Yeah, much better through the rack as well. Got a little above it off the second rail, but that's usually not too penal. A little bit tricky, and the reason why, if you play the 2 down below, if you don't get the snooker, there's a lot of balls to return the snooker from. So he's got to be careful. That's what I was looking at. Is there some type of bank with a 2-way?
Yeah, it's the first thing I was going to mention. From the overhead, it's fooling a little bit. I don't believe it plays, but from that initial angle, I thought the 2-way to the lower left corner was on. That's a mistake. That's a lapse in concentration. Has to be.
Yeah, and he didn't miss the cue ball. It was the object ball. He wanted to float it by the 6.
Tactically, we have not seen that from Moritz.
A lot of work in this rack. I mean, he's got to do a few things. This opener, the way he's been pocketing the ball, I don't really see a problem, even though some distance. He's got to go 4 to the 5. The 7's a little more funny now. The 6 a hair below the 9.
So 6 racks in front. As I said, that's down to 3. But if he could take this chance, he could largely forget about all that. He'd suddenly be only one away from the hill, still with a strong lead in the match. Some really big moments here.
He really loves to go with that high inside ball whenever he goes high. A lot of players tend to want to pinch that ball to the right pocket.
This may actually be good for him just to get to the center of the table. Don't flirt with anything else.
You can go nice and deep out of the corner here. Don't be afraid to really get into it. Never going to scratch. Just got to avoid the 8.
And he's going to get absolutely perfect, really. Just kind of ease this in. Could come above the 9, but I'd probably just roll it.
Well, he's showing good character here, isn't he? As you said, Jeremy, there was work to do when he came to the table. And he was under increasing pressure as the final was starting to slip from him just a bit. But he'll feel a lot better now. He's 4 ahead again and suddenly just 2 away from his dreams coming true. Really, it was a clumsy error to leave the 2 ball on from Neuhausen. He's undone a lot of his good work there.
Unexpected, really. I guess a little bit startling. We're just used to him executing so well defensively. It's a race to 13. He's had a long week. He's human.
Now, of course, as well as winning the rack, Labutis has got the break back, and that's been working pretty well for him.
Just not really buying the shots after the break, even if he does get the 1 down. Moritz.
Yeah, it's amazing, though, what just a few things can do for you. Ending that last match on a nice high, because, I mean, has Pijus really missed a ball in this match? I mean, has there really been many missed?
Put it this way, a lot fewer than he did in the previous 2 matches, because even though he won both of those, he had a lot of unexpected misses, and we said he'd need to cut that out in the final, and he really has. Been so dependable. 11-7.
A little thin, but the 2 balls going up table by itself, that's always a good sign. I'll tell you. He's got a hair of a perfect angle just to play that stun to get nice on the 3, and the way he's played, he should get to the hill, Scott.
Yeah, you got a beautiful flick off the purple 5 there onto the cue ball. And like Moritz, he's been so good at getting the most out of the cue ball on that shot. This table doesn't lend well for that.
It all started with that crowd-pleasing 3-7-9 combination in the 8th rack. He was 4-3 down at that stage. It got him level, and it sparked that run of 7 racks in a row. Although Neuhausen came back well, it's starting to look like one of those cases where it may prove to have been just too much to ask.
Yeah, now I think it's a matter of slowing the heart rate down just a bit, or at least keeping it in check, right? Closer you get to that finish line. what the greats tend to do, is recognize the key moments.
Yeah, well, he's fallen perfect here. Not far away from the 8. A nice angle just to pull it up the rail and use a hair right spin. Should get in a real good position on the 9.
He's had 4 break and runs already in this final. And all of a sudden, he has really reassumed control here. Moritz Neuhausen is going to have to win half a dozen racks in a row, and if he doesn't, Pijus Labutis will be your champion.
Yeah, and that pretty lady's face says it all right there.
Well, what a week it's been. We'll remember so much, as always, from our visit to Hanoi. We'll think of Harry Vergara lighting up the tournament again, going even further than he did last year. George Antonakis, and one of the most astonishing results we've seen in recent years with his win over Fedor Gorst. The Vietnamese players continuing to grow in strength. One of them getting through to the weekend of the Hanoi Open for the first time. And of course, we'll remember what Scott has assured me was an authentic typhoon, which cost us the entire first day's play, and into a big effort in the next couple of days after that, starting early, finishing late, but getting back on track. And all roads have led to this final. The break has been so good for Pijus Labutis. This is his very last one of this year's Hanoi Open, come what may.
Yeah, look at that atmosphere there.
Kind of felt like there'd be some movement on the 9. He's going to get another look. It is tricky. Can he make this without scratching? I think so.
Boy, it's tough.
Well, sorry, Scott. He's got the bottom of the cue ball, though. He could bank this away 2 rails, maybe. No, the 7's there, so I think this is playable.
Yeah, we can't tell till we get the overhead.
Now the problem is he going to hit the point and nestle behind the pink?
Yeah, this is pretty tough, JJ.
I don't think it's going to scratch, though. I really don't. I think it may catch the point and, stick it behind the pink is all. Not sure he can go forward off this shot. I think he's got to go. He's got to shoot.
Oh, what a hit. What a hit. And look at what it's done for him. Everything opened up now.
Yeah, and you look at that semifinal and you say, a win's a win, right? And we all have said that in our career at some point or another, right? Whether you've just drug it across the finish line a little bit. But to go out in pure class and take down this title, that's a whole nother feeling.
One of the great things about sport, and one of the reasons we love it so much, is that it's down to you. When the opportunities are there, you can go out and change your life. The prize money, Mosconi Cup possibilities, climbing to round about number 7 in the world rankings. It's all there in the next few moments. It's a big reward for all the years of dedication and perseverance from this very likable man from Vilnius in Lithuania.
Yeah, and I think Jeremy said it best, really. He just continued to plug away, not the type of player to make excuses, just shows up, does everything he can do to win. You got to really tip your hat to him. He's earned it. He deserves it. He's played phenomenal.
Well, he has, hasn't he? And you'd settle for any win to get your first major title. But how much more joyous is it to play like this? When he woke up this morning, he was known as the guy who kept losing semi-finals.
The emotion.
The breakthrough has come for Pijus Labutis. He built a massive lead in the Hanoi Open final. Moritz Neuhausen came charging back, but Labutis, yet again, as he did in the quarter-final, as he did in the semi-final, has come good right at the end. And the class of Moritz Neuhausen showing through in his congratulations for the new champion and the way he encouraged the crowd to salute the winner. That's the moment that seals it all. As I said earlier, it will be such a popular victory on the tour. Everyone recognises what Pijus Labutis has done, coming from a country with so little history in the game.